I have been absolutely blown away by the reception to the first +R video. The amount of views and positive comments it's received has been better than I ever could have imagined. Every message I wanted to send in that video has been received. Yeah, we're beginners, and yeah, we suck, but we're all in this together. By sharing the experience, we're helping each other. That seemed to be the case with the first video, as multiple people mentioned that my comments on mindset made them want to give certain games another try. That's what I wanted when I wrote that stuff. Showcasing your own struggles, taking pride in what they taught you, can do so much, not just for you, but also for others. I'm opening up about my mistakes so that you can learn from them without ever having to make them yourself. So what mistakes did I make in the interim? Well, firstly, numbers. Giving a shit about them, to be specific. Yeah, it's cool to raise my winning percentage, but I found myself hunting wins wildly at certain points to maintain that precious percentage, whatever it was at the time. I'd play without purpose, or as Perfect Legend once labeled it in a very informative Twitter thread, random. I was throwing out moves with no rhyme or reason other than hoping that they'd somehow save my ass. The amount of brainless /Bentons I threw in some of those matches is disgusting. It made me feel like I was a beginner law player all over again, throwing out his bicycle kicks hoping that they'd hit a whiffed attack and I'd be able to do something, without having any other game plan. One of my most recent matches is a clear example of this, sans the Benton spam. To set the stage, I was coming off of winning 2 matches against someone else, and had surprisingly won the first match against this Biken player. I started thinking that it would be really cool if I could win 4 matches in a row and up my winning percentage even more. So what happened? I played myself. Caring about numbers made me change the way I was playing. Instead of the rounds being close, tight affairs like they were previously, I played like I had never touched a fighting game before and got completely stomped. But I was able to recognize this issue mid-ass whooping and proceeded to correct it in the following match, which was another close affair that I managed to win. That's growth, being able to recognize the issue and mellow it out before it can do more damage. Learning that wins aren't important is so counterintuitive to how basically everything in life is treated. But it's a necessary lesson to keep myself from playing outside my boundaries. As one commenter on the first video put it, L is for learning. If I get my ass kicked sticking to what I know so far, it's going to teach me so much more than a win attained through spamming random inputs that had no thought behind them other than panic. What's there to panic about? Nothing. Exactly. In the time I wasn't caring about fake internet points, which thankfully was the majority of the time, a lot of my losses came from having a lack of matchup knowledge. Anji and Milia specifically had been able to run me through the ringer with their various tricks. That's not something I'm all too worried about. This problem gets solved with experience and practice. Axel's Dust Loop page does have a very good section on each of his matchups when I reach that point, but that's not the case for the rest of the cast. I found this weird at first until looking at the matchup page for Venom, which lays things out very clearly as to why most characters don't have what Axel has. It reads, "These sections are difficult to make, time-consuming to write, and require a lot of vetting by strong players. Please be understanding of the fact that these are few, far between, and slow to update." That's totally understandable. And it's not like complete matchup info is something beginners really need to know. A lot of what's mentioned is things I'd probably have figured out through playing more matches. Adapting to new matches and figuring out things in real time has been one of the most fulfilling parts of playing this game. One of the characters that initially gave me a lot of trouble even helped improve my game in a very significant way. I've faced a bunch of Slayers so far, and was having a real issue with his side-switching special move. The biggest issue was that I stayed very stationary, trying to block every move they made instead of working to get out of the situation. After one of my matches against him, it finally hit me. Jump. Stop trying to predict everything on the ground, you're never going to win that way. It's like I forgot there was a vertical component to the game. Probably because I've only been playing Tekken for the past few years before I got started with +R. This was also an issue I had in the brief time I played Strive. But seeing how much the air game helped me play around this Slayer option, I've since made a point to explore my aerial options further, and it's made for a more fun experience. The two air moves I consistently used in Strive were Axel's Slash and Heavy Slash. While his jumping Slash is the same in +R as in Strive, his jumping Heavy Slash is and feels very different. In Strive, it shoots his sickles down below him, while the +R version is much more horizontal and looks nothing like it does in Strive. I'm still getting used to what moves from Strive he doesn't have in +R. It's actually something I like a lot. It's preventing me from playing off muscle memory built up in Strive, which is good because I wasn't good at Strive. But with every solution comes a new problem, it seems. After writing that last section, I began to notice that I was jumping sort of flagrantly in subsequent matches, overcompensating for how little I had been using jumps initially. Finding that right balance between grounded and aerial gameplay is one of my next challenges. The last of my issues are purely coordination based. I can't dash left on a stick to save my life, and I need to work on the accuracy of my motion inputs. On the brighter side of things, I have conquered the issue that was giving me guff in episode 1. I've been playing with a greater aggression. This comes from just learning a few Gatling routes, picking up some simple Oki options, and overall getting more comfortable with Axel's kit. Even in instances where a situation comes up out of nowhere, like when I throw out Force Break Kyokusa by accident instead of Rensen or Rasho, which happens a lot more than I'd like it to, I've been able to consistently do something in reaction to it. The damage might not be as big as it could have been had I known some better combos or done the thing I'd meant to do, but it's more than 0, and that's really the bar right now. As much as I'm learning about +R, it's teaching me things about myself in the same way Pokemon did years prior. I've been in a crisis of fun, sorta, for the past few months, stuck in a loop of fighting games and NBA 2K, and wasn't having much fun with either until I started this series and picked up +R. 2K is still more a habitual thing than a fun thing, which got me wondering why I'm taking to +R so well. I'm trying to weed 2K out of my gaming diet and replace it with more single-player games that have definitive starts, definitive ends, and narratives. Something else to spice the palate, you know? So what I realized with +R, and with Huntdown, the single-player game I'm really getting into, is that what I look for in games nowadays are challenges. I want to be pushed, while knowing that my effort is going to have a guaranteed positive outcome. In single-player games like Huntdown, it comes from knowing that each boss has a way to be beaten, and that I just need to crack their code. With multiplayer games, I'm trying to define that guaranteed positive as better game feel. While I won't be guaranteed a win, I will feel more comfortable with what I'm playing regardless, and that's going to make the game far more fun. Again, Pokemon is an apt comparison here. My favorite Smogon tier of this generation has been National Dex OU, and despite 4 of the 6 Pokemon on my main team being in the lower UU tier, I feel like I can beat anyone with them because I'm supremely comfortable using that team and understanding what options they present, where they excel, that sort of stuff. My goal is to get to that point with Axel, a firm handle on his options and how to take good advantage of them, regardless of the matchup. Reaching that point is what truly excites me about +R. I am so excited to see that journey progress and have this video series to look back on. The plan for now is to work on motion input consistency and understanding his moves better. I'm also going to check out some of Patrick Miller's content and stuff on how to make the most of training mode. How are all of you doing in your main games? Got any tips or experiences you'd like to share? I loved reading the comments on the first video, so please feel free to share in the comments section on this one too. Anyways, peace.